Everybody has the right to education. It's a basic right. Everybody has the right to housing. It's a basic right. Everyone has the right to food. It's a basic right. In the United States, we don't acknowledge any of those things as rights. Franklin Roosevelt tried to get them into the Constitution of the United States back in the early 1940s, and with his second Bill of Rights proposal. But the Republicans would have nothing to do with it, and they weren't able to get it passed or even get any serious traction for the thing. So we continue to slide into third world poverty while countries that have embraced democratic socialism become very, very successful. So let's look at what's going on here in the United States. Paul Ryan basically just came out and said, hey, we got ours with the tax cuts. Oh, you guys, tough luck. All right, his specific tweet was, we have to fix health care if we're going to get away from this debt crisis. It was tweeted out by Fox News, a quote from Paul Ryan on Fox so-called news. And, when Paul Ryan says fix health care, you know what he means. He means, chop $500 million out of Medicare so that everybody on Medicare is going to have to start paying an extra $100 a month for their Medicare, or is going to have to start paying $100 as a copay every time they visit a doctor and going to have to start paying more for their drugs. And blow up Obamacare and do away with Medicaid. So Joan McCarter over at Daily Kos today noting a second grade teacher, this is from WeatherfordDemocrat.com, a second grade teacher at Ickard Elementary School, I-K-A-R-D, 38-year-old Heather Holland died Sunday due to complications of the flu. In addition to a classroom of second graders, Holland left behind husband Frank Holland, a 10-year-old daughter, and a 7-year-old son. Holland fell ill about a week ago and planned to pick up flu medication, but felt the $116 copay was too high, her husband said. As Joan McCarter writes, she died from the flu because she needed the $116 for her kids, which is how it should be in Paul Ryan's world. After all, her kids are 7 and 10 years old. They can get jobs, right? Meanwhile, Nancy Altman, writing over at Slate.com, Republicans are killing Social Security one tiny service cut at a time, points out Marco Rubio, just before Christmas, told us that the Republicans in the House and Senate were going to go after Social Security. And here's how they're doing it. Nancy writes, Republican politicians are making it increasingly difficult, time-consuming, and aggravating to access earned Social Security benefits in the hope of undermining support for that extremely popular program. Only 0.7 of a penny goes to administration for Social Security. It's not even 1%. It's 0.7%. That's more efficient than any private sector pension or anything else. But here's what the Republicans are doing. Since 2010, when Republicans took back control of the House of Representatives, Social Security's operating budget has been cut by 11%. For 2018, they're proposing limiting Social Security's administrative budget even more, this time by $492 million, which is a 4% cut to the Social Security Administration's operating budget on top of an already enacted 16% cut from 2010. This increasing squeeze comes as Social Security's workload continues to grow. The first members of the baby boom generation turned 65 in 2011. About 10,000 boomers are retiring every day right now. So what is the result of these Republican cuts so far? This is without the $500 million cut, the $450 million cut that they're proposing, $492 million cut that they're proposing for right now to the Social Security Administration. Just from the Republican cuts over the last 5 or 10 years, the first, as I mentioned, more than 1 million people are awaiting hearings to determine whether they qualify for Social Security disability benefits. Currently, the wait time is more than 600 days. This is what the Republicans want. It takes you 600 days to even have a hearing before the Social Security folks about whether you're eligible for Social Security disability benefits. In the past 2 years, 18,700 workers have died waiting for that decision. Republicans don't care if workers die. Republicans only care when the billionaire class starts to die. Benefits that could have saved lives, prevented bankruptcies, and stopped the loss of homes, thus preventing homelessness, never were paid out because Republicans made sure that you had to wait 600 days to even qualify for Social Security disability. The Social Security Administration has had to close 64 district offices, and they have had to close more than 500 mobile offices. The offices still open have had to reduce their hours. Their workforce has declined by 6%, with 5 states having lost 15% of their Social Security employees. And what's the result of this? Hours-long lines stretching out the door have become a common feature of field offices. Hold times on Social Security's 800 hotline have increased to the point where nearly half of callers hang up in frustration. And people have to drive miles and miles now that they're closing these Social Security offices just to find a Social Security office. Meanwhile, the UN Raconteur Philip Alston, rapporteur on extreme poverty and human rights, visited the United States. I saw sewage-filled yards in states where governments don't consider sanitation facilities to be their responsibility. I saw people who'd lost all their teeth because adult dental care is not covered by the vast majority of programs available to the very poor. Says the United Nations